My name is Stephen Thompson, and I served in the United States Army as an airborne Ranger infantryman. My rank was an E4, which means I was a specialist.
James Butler, Army National Guard, 6 years, specialist.
I was Gunnery Sergeant Schulteis in the Marines, and everyone called me Gunny.
Kelly Snyder, Army Sergeant.
Chris Moritz, I was in the United States Air Force. I was a weather observer and assistant supply custodian for my unit.
I'm Specialist Seer.
My name is Travis Gundrum. I'm a United States Marine, and I was a corporal.
I enlisted in the Air Force in 1991. One of the major reasons I enlisted was because my grandfather served in World War II, and he was part of the D-Day invasion. So I felt the desire to serve, to try to live up to his name.
So I was in the Army. I was Air Assault, Airborne, and HALA qualified.
I actually joined after I graduated from college. I had always wanted to be in the military, and I guess I was always just kind of scared to do it. Couldn't find a job that I was interested in, so one day I just enlisted, went home and told my mom I enlisted, and went from there.
I enlisted in the Marine Corps because when I went to college, I was immature and failed out of school because I didn't study. I just played around too much, and I needed to get myself some discipline, and I thought the Marines would do that for me.
I served in the United States Army. When I was in high school, I originally was going to go right out of high school, but I played in a summer ice hockey league, and I hurt my knee, and so I wasn't able to ship out at the time, and so I just went to college as my plan B. But after 9/11 happened, I was contacted by the Army to come back in for a reevaluation.
I wanted to find a way to pay for college, but then 9/11 happened. But when you see the events of that, it was just, there was a fire. If you're gonna get revenge, you join the Marine Corps, and if you really wanna get into a fight, you join the infantry. And so that was really what I did.
My dad was in the service for 36 years, and I felt like I needed to be a stronger and better person.
I enlisted in the early 80s, and that was still some of the feelings of the Vietnam War. A lot of my friends were like, "What are you doing? You can't do that." But I needed it for myself. But nowadays I can't tell you how many times I get thanked for my service. There's a huge difference in the culture about how military service is really important and good for the country.
I feel that the soldier is continuing to be viewed upon now more favorably.
I think a lot of people still consider the military as like a backup plan. Like if they drop out of high school or something like that, they can always rely on the military. And that's just not the way it works anymore. You have to graduate high school. They don't even let you do the equivalency thing anymore. So I think just changing the attitude that, you know, the military wants to have the best of the best, the smartest, the toughest, the people who are going to be able to go out there, because there's so much going on now with all the technology, with all of the political aspects of things now. You just really have to be careful.
I would say probably the biggest thing that I've noticed was just 9/11. There's a different outlook on why we should serve, or why we should be careful with our service and things that we do. All in all, I think people are very proud of those who serve in the military, very respectful.
I didn't think I would make it because the boot camp, you had to have a certain score. And with my eyesight, different challenges of like lifting things, because I'm not the strongest person in the world, so I wanted to just get stronger as a person and stronger physically.
Challenges, obviously, going through, seeing some of the stuff you see, dealing with death is, you know, really hard, especially at a younger age. You go on Facebook and you look at, you know, you get out of high school and you go off to college, and some kids are starting to have babies. Maybe you get invited to a couple weddings, and instead I'm like going to a bunch of funerals. That would probably be obviously the hardest part.
I think just being so far away from home. I was stationed in Hawaii, gone for a year on deployment, and I was also stationed in the Netherlands. My grandfather passed away when I was in the Netherlands, and I hadn't seen him for over a year and a half. So just things like that. It's just tough being away from people.
Really was just the physical aspect of getting through boot camp. I was a geeky kid when I was in high school, and so I had a lot of people saying, "There's no way you're going to make it, no way you're going to make it." So just having that determination to kind of push through and do the best I could. That was definitely the hardest part, especially Marine boot camp. It's 13 weeks. It's the longest. It is the most brutal, and they just find new ways of torturing you. And if you figure out how to get past that, it actually turns into a lot of fun.
Veterans Day means to me is, I think the biggest thing is I look back to my grandfather. Just the things that he went through to wind up in that situation. There was an instance where he was supposed to deliver a message, and he never volunteered for things, but there was this instance where they asked for a volunteer and he volunteered. And he was in a foxhole, And so all his buddies had their foxholes dug around him and things like that. So he got out of his foxhole, he went to deliver his message, and when he came back, his whole unit was dead. I just can't imagine, you know, what that was like for that guy. And then when I look back on it, you look and you see that split moment, that was huge for me. And so anyway, you have to respect the things that those guys go through, and you know, so it's sort of emotional to me.
Veterans Day is super huge to me. It's very important because it's that day to reflect, that day to remember any war that's been fought that got America to where it is today with all the freedom and all the choices that we have. It's a day to remember the people that sacrificed their lives so we can have what we have today.
Veterans Day is almost indescribable. I just feel so humbled by it. I enjoy it because it gives me opportunity to text and email and talk to my family and friends that have served or are still currently serving, and just thank them for their service and their continued service, as well as just to the vets I'll talk to that day, just to give honor to a group of men and women that we share a bond. We're brothers and sisters in arms, and we always will be.
For me, it gives me time to reflect on some of the friends and colleagues that I've known in the military, and also people that have lost their lives in the military.
I just think it's a special day to honor those who were willing to risk their lives for our great nation. I just think it's important to recognize those people.
So Veterans Day for me is a day that I think veterans are supposed to actually go out and tell their story. For me, it's really helped get past some of the demons that I had to deal with. And I think it really is a day that, you know, as a nation, we should kind of thank those people who came before us. To remember that the men and women today especially all volunteered. No one was drafted. Everyone decided to go.
It means a lot with everybody getting together, working with each other, protecting our country. Just to recognize everybody that's helped out in the past and protected our country.
I think it gives a whole country a time to reflect and thank the very few people who are in the military. Our military is incredibly a small proportion of the population. It gives time for people to think about the veterans and what sacrifices they've done for our country.
It gives us a chance to recognize those individuals who have, choose for so much time to give up their freedom to defend ours. And I think that sometimes is lost, that a veteran, when they are a soldier, when they serve, they've essentially given up their freedom to ensure that the rest of the nation has freedom to do all the things they want to do.
I personally think it's a great experience. I'll never feel anything like I did when I was in the military. It's just an amazing feeling serving your country and the people that you work alongside. You know that you're willing to risk your lives for them, and vice versa. The people I met in the military, they will always be family to me.
I think it's an amazing stepping stone. The whole time I was in, I was saving money for college. I got the GI Bill, I got benefits from being in the military and going overseas. I have my stuff set up financially. It set me up as a leader. It instilled those values, and like I said, it really set me up. Going to the military was smart for me because I knew it would help me. I didn't realize at the time when I enlisted how much it would help me, not only financially, but educationally, because I got more out of my studies, and as an adult, I feel like I advanced faster in the field because I had those values instilled in me that they pound into you in basic training.
I know I got a lot more out of the Marines than the Marines got out of me. I mean, it's a great experience. I mean, it's not easy, but I learned a lot, I grew a lot. I'm a much better person because I went into the military.
It was probably one of the best decisions I made. I wasn't quite ready for college yet. And I felt that the only way I was going to be ready was if I went out into the world and did something for my country, saw the world, served other people. And through that experience, I got to see all kinds of stuff I never would have saw. And I don't think I would have had that if I didn't serve.